Okay, so Grixis mid-range, Grixis control, Grixis dragons. There's a few different things you could call this. Our headlining win conditions here are Nicol, Bolas, the Ravager, or Giant Relentless Rats, depending on Ravenous Rats, depending on who you ask. We've got Glorybringer here up at the top end of the curve here. So this curve of 4/4 flyer into 4/4 flyer hasted axe as a removal spell, dragons that close the game and generate card advantage as we go is fantastic. We have to play Crux of Fate as our sweeper here, destroy all non-dragons. This leaves our primary win cons alone. We got a couple of planeswalkers here in Chandra and Nikki B for some card advantage. I am playing a couple copies of Mindstone to get to some of these more expensive cards a little bit sooner. It is worth noting that the colorless mana on this doesn't technically work with this, but I do think it's worth playing Mindstone over something like, say, Cold Steelheart, because Cold Steelheart doesn't cycle. So our deck has 26 lands in it. So 26 lands plus 2 Mind Stones. We have 28 mana sources. So I have some cycle lands down here, but I think, having some amount of these mana sources that do stuff for us so we don't just flood out and die in the games that go long is important. We've got, discard spells here. One thing you'll note here is because our deck's a little bit more controlling, I'm favoring more Inquisitions in the main deck and less Thoughtseizes. I've got the extra Thoughtseize in the board for the combo and the control matchups, but against the aggressive decks, this deck doesn't have ways to gain life outside of these clings, so I wanted discard spells, if you open an Inquisition against Gruul, it's a lot less brutal than opening Thoughtseize and starting, 2 life lower, especially in our deck where we've got a bunch of shock lands, so starting at 16 is usually a death sentence against Gruul, whereas, starting at 18 or 20 is much, much better, so let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this. Last time we played this, it felt very reasonable, had decent interaction, and also had threats that were reasonable at closing the game out pretty quickly. This is our second time playing this one on stream. I think if we have another good run with this, this is definitely going to be one of the historic decks that goes up in the list of decks on my website. I'm going to be adding historic deck pages back up there soon. Yeah, Rekindling Phoenix is a card I really love, and it just hasn't surpassed the test of time. All right, we need to draw some lands here, but if we hit some runners, our hand is very good. We can cast these spells, they're excellent. I think we pass here. And I'm going to Prismari Command, make a treasure, and loot, probably. So we can play Nikki B next turn. It's right to just play Bone Daddy to be able to block Faceless Haven. I don't take donations to add cards that are expressly bad to my deck. It's not into that sort of thing. Does a disservice to the people that donated for the deck list too. Nice. Nice. Tag that. I wasn't sure if we wanted to do that because this is 7, but like getting a Skyclave Apparition out of there is huge. I think with the 2 Bonecrushers on Adventure, when they attack with Faceless Haven here, we just take 4. We actually don't have that many cards in our deck that Redain messes up. It's like 3 Crux, 2 Chandra, 2 Nikki Beam. If we hit running lands here, the Dragon God gets to come into play. Oh, Baleful Mastery too, technically. Yeah, that's true. This is a 2-mana card in my mind, but you're right. I looted it away because it goes up to 6. A little bit of awkwardness there. What does this attack mean? Hey, nice Mace Stun. Thanks for the sub gifts. Good afternoon to you. Libra thanks for the follow. What does this attack mean? Like what's a playable card? What's a playable card that this attack? Yeah, are they playing Wrath of God? Sure. Man, that's a bold strategy. Bold strategy putting Nicol Bolas under that. If we had a Bonecrusher Giant, we'd get to like 2-for-1 them with it again. Wow, their top decks have been really good here. We could lose this game. We need to find a way to kill the God Favored. This doesn't work, right? This is protection from... Oh, it's protection from gods. That does work. I don't know why I thought it was protection from multicolored.
All will bow before Nicol. Your existence is pointless.
And now they have to throw away Redain if they want to kill this, and then this can flip over. Hey, Dorox, thank you for the 35 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Okay. Breed sounds good. Heartless Act sounds good. Shadow's Verdict sounds good. Nikki B probably comes out here. Thoughtseize definitely comes out. I feel like I don't want too many cards that get shut off by Redain. Maybe Baleful Mastery comes out for that reason. I'm boarding in cheaper spot removal. Could just be an all Doomblades on deck matchup though. I'm bringing in 4 more ways to kill Redain, so maybe that's fine. Yeah, it's probably fine. Mastery always has a converted mana cost of 4, chat. So if you want to pay the discount, you have to pay 4 instead of 2. For people that aren't familiar with that interaction. I killer 1-drop here. Blue Thunder, thanks for the brand new Prime Sport. There's a ton of great people who can ship that to every single month here on Twitch. Thanks for sending it this way this month. It's not the red source I wanted for Christmas. They're a Mox Amber deck. Yeah, probably. That would make sense. I assume we're losing Shadow's Verdict here. Yeah, this design is awesome. I wonder if we'll see more effects like this. It doesn't matter, we're super dead here. Probably supposed to mulligan that hand that can't cast its spells. It's fine, we get to be on the play for game 3. Honestly, boarding up to 5 sweepers might be wrong in this matchup against their deck with 4 creature lands in it. Yeah, magically links are always welcome. Okay. Yeah, cost reduction is always kind of a funky thing in Magic. I think we give them a card here, right? Just get this out of here. Oh, that's a good thought. Yeah, you're right, Steric. I should definitely do it pre-discard. Then I get to see the card that they're drawing. If they attack with both, I'm blocking Thalia. If they attack with just Facial Save, and I think I trade here. Our curve looking real good this game. Wow, they had Skyclave and didn't Skyclave us. That's wild. Probably their best draw. Huh? What do we think of using Bonecrusher Giant as a Boros Charm here? I think that's the play, right? You want to block too? Getting punished. Opponent's build is neat. Good aggressive things, a little bit taxing. Feels Magic Man. Epiq, thank you for the 14 months. Welcome back. You can draw Shadow's Verdict. Yeah, we'd have been able to win the race if they hadn't drawn Decade Stone the turn that they did. Sometimes you draw 8 lands and they draw 6. Or sometimes you draw 12 lands and they draw 6. So I messed up game 2 with a bad keep. Game 3, not really a whole lot we could do there. Yeah, it's not really a Grixis thing. It's just like how Magic works. Your opponent's aggro deck is really good when it draws 5 lands at all gas in, you know, a 13-turn game. Opponent's deck, like, not only was the opponent fortunate to not draw lands, but, like, the opponent's deck has a bunch of 1-mana cards in it. Like, imagine if they were drawing, like, 1-mana 2/2s instead of, like, good spells. Like, if that Adanto Vanguard had been a 1-mana 2/2, or instead of a Deccan Stone, they drew a 1-mana 2/2 while I had a Dragon out. That's how the game works sometimes. Play the 1K gold events, Kid Martin. If you're capable of getting top 1200 Mythic, the 1K gold events will farm you a lot of currency. Honestly, if you're capable of being good at Magic, the 1K gold events are the best way to grow your collection on Arena and it's not close. Yeah, in fact, because the 1K gold events are technically the best way to farm a collection, there's a lot of people who don't have actual decks that play in them because they're told by other people it's the best way to farm a collection, and then they end up getting farmed by people that, like, have cards. It's kind of a brutal whack for them. Because, like, they'll read or, like, they'll hear from, you know, someone like me, like, this is the best way to grow your stuff and farm, but, like, it's not if you don't have cards to begin with. I always tell people, if you're capable of getting to Mythic on the constructed ladder, you will probably turn a profit in the 1K constructed events. If you're not capable of getting to Mythic, you are probably, not even probably, if you're not capable of getting to Mythic, you are a fish and the sharks will eat you. I don't want to use the Prismari Command to kill the 1/1 aggressively because this card can shatter. So when they Embercleave here, I want to kill Embercleave. So Prismari Command lets me kill Embercleave and trade with the Lovestruck Beast. Stop scaring away my food. I think Baleful Mastery is really good. I'm a big fan of not having cards that are dead against blue-white game 1. So I'm playing Heartless Act, it's just in my sideboard. I would have died there. Yeah, a lot of people would have died there. Ask yourself the question, how do we lose from here? And the answer is usually Embercleave. And then ask yourself if you could play around it. And Prismari Command's a nice flexible one that lets us do that a little bit. If they have another cleave here or a way to kill Dragon God, yeah, it's a brutal play. $50 times the number of decks you're interested in seeing played hand over fist. Inconceivable. Now, I do get to kill this, and then play this as a blocker. So like if they don't have second cleave here, we're in an okay spot. We are unfortunately going to die to second cleave. What are the 1k gold events? They are constructed events with a 1,000 gold entry fee that you can play in that give you prizes based on your record. Yeah, they're standard or historic. Yeah, 1,000 gold's like the equivalent of like $1. So if you're someone that's like picking up a meta deck and is interested in grinding something, those are what you should grind. I think we trade here with the second one in hand. I think I'm at a point where I don't want to gain life with this. Oh, but I also kind of want to leave this in my bin to resurrect, right? No, there's a best of 3 option. Maybe I just wait on this. Humbert, thank you for the 6 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
No one can stand in my way. Isn't dead. Spark will be mine.
The greedy play would be to plus this to draw 2 cards, but I'm gonna be less greedy here. And then we've already got Glorybringer rolled up for Land War Elf here.
You know who I am.
Oh no, who I am.
My schemes are never ending.
Prismari Command looking real decent here. I'm looking forward to getting Culligan's Command in this format. That card's great. This deck would drop Prismari Command to play Culligan's Command in a heartbeat. Does deck play Cruel Ultimatum? No, we wouldn't play bad cards. Listen, chat, Magic was a very different game when Cruel Ultimatum was playable. It was a very, very different game. This is in 2010, boomers. Okay, Grandma. Do I want Verdict? It's pretty slow on the draw. Honestly, don't know that I do. It's probably this card out on the draw, huh? Maybe I don't have time to ramp. I'd just rather play on curb. Yeah, let's do that, actually. You missed that, Magic? I don't know. Standard's a blight right now, but like, this current historic format's pretty sweet. A lot of good mid-range and control decks. Bringing Chaos Warp against blue-white control and things that have enchantments. Things with low permanent counts and enchantments that you care about. I'm inclined to keep this because it has all of our colors of mana. Needs to draw a piece of interaction on the in turn though. If we don't draw a piece of interaction for less than 5 mana in our first couple of draws, we're gonna be in trouble. Well, their hand's kind of bad here, he says before getting top decked. At your birthday, Bobby wanted to see some more Grixis, and Bob doesn't wait in line. He's one of Hooglandia's resident golden whales. Perfect. I know I have this sweeper, but don't be greedy. I just want to keep our life total high. They have a lot of haste and reach and stuff, so. You know, it's any bad matchups with the tokens deck. Now, I think the tokens deck probably has play everywhere, and that's one of the upsides of playing a deck like that can combo kill people on turn 4. Like, you don't really have bad matchups so much as you, like, have bad draws. Kinda need to draw another piece of interaction. Having to wait till turn 5 probably means we die. So I'm going to 12 here, and then they have 11 on board with the Hepshed Oasis. So yeah, I really want like a Bonecrusher or something here. Yikes. What's going on, Wargy? Them burning Emissary instead of putting us to... Oh wait, they can also Hepshed? Oh wait, if they Hepshed here, they have to tap an elf, right? So they're gonna put us to 2? Oh no, I miscounted. Still at 1. Hey, dead to a stiff breeze. Hey, gotta feed for a couple of turns here. Wow, that's gotta be wrong. That's gotta be wrong. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna cycle this, because if I draw Cling, I want to do that. And then I think at this point we're Glorybringer on defense, right? You just gotta Fade Stomp then. I'm gonna kill this elf because I want them to sacrifice lands. Alright, GG. Look at that, chat. 2-0ing Gruul with Grixis. Things you love to see. It. Cling is so good. It's so good, chat. We should attack now? Now I'm gonna ult the Nicol Bolas here in half a second.
My intellect is without limit.
He even has a little animation. It's cute. It's cute. It's better than nothing. All right, I need to run to the restroom really quick. Don't go anywhere. We got plenty more Grixis coming up. I'll be back in just a moment. Look at that. 1 minute ad finished exactly. Perfect timing. Langdon, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate the prime. Welcome back. Why is Twitch farming you to give me bits? Because when I walk away from the computer on a break, I always manually run an ad. Because when you manually run an ad on Twitch, it disables pre-rolls. So if I'm going to take a 60-second or 2-minute break anyways, I might as well run it so that way new people coming in don't get a pre-roll. I'm not making content anyways. So I will never be a streamer who runs ads while I'm playing games. That's the number one thing that makes me turn streamers off, is when they play an ad in the middle of their game of Magic. But if I'm gonna walk away anyways, I might as well do it. Turn 1 Inquisition, turn 2 Mindstone, turn 3 Chandra. You love to see it. Huh? Okay, so we take the duress, and we hope they broke on the land. Second Chandra's nice. It could be right to just like take Tainted Pact too, but can they win if you take Pact? Yeah, the builds without Laturi play 2 packs. They also play tutors. They play Thassa's Oracle. They play ways to recover cards from the bin. Yeah, the deck we're currently playing is the same Grixis deck we had played last week. Our opponent could theoretically win the game next turn. They could go land, Thassa's Oracle, Tainted Pact, kill us. Rubber Ducky, thank you for the 3rd of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm gonna play around counter unless they pay 1 card. This also lets me cast a discard spell if Chandra draws it.
What? My hair is on fire. Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Wrong discard spell. Yep.
This will be easy.
Okay. Okay. So 5, 6, 7, 8 mana next turn potentially. Chandra's also working towards ultimate here.
Oh, today's my lucky day.
Honestly, I think yeah, this is probably fine. See, I can't decide if I'd rather do that or this. I guess this gives me a draw towards a discard spell for next turn. Yeah, actually, I think this is wrong. I think I'm supposed to play this to have a chance to spike a discard spell here, especially with the other Nikki B in hand. Alright, this is an Oracle or a Tainted Pack, we lose. So of course it is. Hopefully they're just having to fish up an answer to Chandra here. What a bad joke. That feels shitty, man. Yeah, when do they have it? Always. When do you have it? Never. Yeah, their deck, I actually think their deck being, if their deck has felt playable when we've played it, and I think their deck being playable is incredibly bad for the format. The number of axes of interaction that you have for their deck, like you write down the number of cards that interact profitably with what they're doing, it's literally just discard spells and counter spells. Your removal is useless. For people that aren't familiar with their deck, they're playing Singleton except for 2 Thassa's Oracles and 2 Tainted Packs. So when they cast Oracle and then they cast Tainted Pack, they win the game. I guess technically cheeky things like this, Prismari Command or Baleful Mastery making them draw wins the game, but yeah, it's pretty bad. The amount of interaction that you have that you can play that like actually is useful against them is few and far between. Even Surgical Extraction doesn't work against them, chat. They play both Fae of Wishes and Mastermind's Acquisition, have extra copies of their combo pieces in the board. So those cards slow them down, but they don't really interact with them super well. They don't stop them from combo killing you. No, we were actually talking about that earlier. I would like Surgical Extraction to be in this format. I think that would make the list of Phyrexian mana cards that would be okay for the format. Charleston, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hey, Guard, thanks for the 2 years. Welcome back. Epic X, welcome to the channel. Good afternoon. Torpor Orb shuts them down and isn't easy to remove in blue-black. I mean, that's not really true. And most of these decks play like this opponent looks to be just blue-black, but most of these decks play Sultai or Grixis because the splash is relatively free since you have to play Singleton lands anyways. Yeah, the Tainted Pack deck, because you only need Singletons of everything except for 2 packs and 2 Oracles, is actually a lot more wild card friendly. Yeah, I mean, like saying play a counter spell, like counter spells work against their deck chat. Counter spells and discard spells are the list of cards that are effective against the opponent's archetype. And like, I'm in colors that have those cards. Like, our deck has some amount of counterplay here. The average deck in this format, a lot of them don't, though. A lot of the time, your opponent just like does what happened last game. Even our deck, we're playing more discard spells than counter spells. Like, you discard them, they peel, and you just die. And like here, right? So like, it is correct for me to play Nicol Bolas here. Putting them on a 2-turn clock is a lot of upside. But if they go untapped land, Oracle Pact, we lose the game. They just like have one of each of their 2-ofs and we die. Yeah, and look, getting super rewarded for not sitting here playing around that. Much like playing against Splinter Twin, it is generally wrong to play around what they have, and it's correct to shove your cards in and play to your outs. And play to the outs of them not having it. Especially in this build that they have here, where their deck only has 2 of each of their cards, right? And now if they have untapped land with the Wishclaw Talisman, they only need 1 of their cards. So if the opponent has Tainted Pack or Oracle in hand and draws a land, we lose the game here.
The immortal Nicol Bolas will be your end.
So very, very likely chance we lose next turn. Yeah, it would be nice if he could hit artifacts for sure.
Are never ending.
Should have played Dragon to put them off of Shocklands. There's only 2 or 3 Shocklands in their deck. they didn't even need the Wishclaw Talisman. Like I said, I think their archetype's very good, and it's very difficult to interact with. And again, like the fact that like stuff like that gets printed into this format, but they still haven't revisited taking Winota off the ban list is a really big miss in my opinion. Like Winota is infinitely more fair than what their deck is doing, and it's not close. Hey, Roger Ghoul, thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. Wizards of the Coast, one of their biggest failings in terms of format management is their failure to revisit things on their ban list. It's something they do very rarely. Keep this on the play. It's got all of our colors. Hopefully we'll draw a spell. I don't like to talk about what they should ban because they're usually pretty sparing with bans. I don't expect the opponent's deck to be overbearing, even if it sucks to play against. Like I said, I think I'd much rather advocate for, hey, can I have Winota back if you're going to have these other things in the format that are more harsh than she is. I think your comment there of what you think they're trying to do isn't based on anything that's in reality, so you're just making shit up. What you think they're doing versus not. My opponent cast a discard spell and then conceded. They played a blue-black duel. I cut these Cruxes and assume they're on a control deck, I think. Maybe they kept a hand and missed a land drop. What's going on, Silent Tempest? Good afternoon. Sure, we'll get to see what they're playing this game. Or not. Or we won't, JK. I'm solidly of the opinion nothing should probably be banned in this format at the moment. I think there are a number of cards, a giant laundry list of cards they should consider giving us back, but yeah. Nah, even honestly, auras and the Jund decks both fell off pretty hard with the latest set release. The injection of spell-based combo decks, like the Tainted Pack deck we just played against, shook the format well. Other than Winota, what should be unbanned? Probably Veil of Summer. Cards I would definitely leave banned are like Once Upon a Time, Oko, Uro. So they are a control deck.
I know 88 ways to defeat you. Pick one.
I think Natural Order should stay banned. That was Natural Order was a good card for them to not have legal. I mean, they knew what they were doing there. The elves deck with Natural Order is not something I want to experience. Oh yeah, Agent of Treachery and Fires of Invention should probably both be legal. Agent of Treachery and Fires. Those two cards are super fair compared to what's going on in the format. Fires is a sweet card too. I think Fires is a card people would enjoy casting. Maybe Steric. I mean, the Time Warp decks haven't proven to be good so far. Yeah, Fires has a real drawback. Reclamation might be fine too. Honestly, Reclamation's probably too slow. Yeah, 4-color Omnath's probably a consideration. Honestly, I'm not sure that any card that's legal in Pioneer should be banned in Historic at this point. Like all of these cards, I think Reclamation is the only card we just mentioned there that's banned in Pioneer. Because Fires is legal in Pioneer, Agent's legal in Pioneer. Veil is banned in Pioneer. But like Fires, Winota. So, for people that don't remember, a comment in chat is ignorant of history. Agent is probably super fair, especially without Winota. The Winota decks didn't play Agent of Treachery, chat. The best Winota payoff is Angrath's Marauders. Like, even going back into Modern and Legacy, the best Winota payoff is Angrath's Marauders. Alright, that's kind of funny. I thought that was gonna happen. Agent was banned because of the Luca Fires deck. Untapped land. Untapped land. I think we've died, chat. I think trying to estimate why Wizards makes their decisions that they do is a silly, fruitless effort because they don't communicate with us clearly, so I don't have a reason why they're doing what they're doing at all to begin with. Thanks for the follow, Rick. Good afternoon. Winota would get to play Marauders and Historian now, yeah. Technically not dead yet. Does this deck play Lightning Helix? Well, my deck doesn't have white mana in it, unless you mean my opponent's deck, in which case their deck's not an established archetype. No, we get weekly updates HR back, but they're not merely meaningful communication. They're mostly just like product status updates. They're like, hey, here's the weekly events. They don't really communicate important things like this is our watch list or stuff like that. They don't give us meaningful in-game information. Veil is banned in Pioneer. But Inquisition isn't legal in Pioneer, and and Memory Lapse isn't legal in Pioneer. So it's a completely different environment. So there were 29 people out of 32 played one deck, and 27 out of 32 played another. Yeah. Card game formats, chat. They ebb and they flow. Will Historic become Pioneer? Or will it be Pioneer plus random? No, Historic's not going to become Pioneer. Historic will become a superset of Pioneer, but they'll be different formats. Yeah, Runeterra having consistently bad metagames for their seasonal tournaments has been a thing now. Like two out of their 3 seasonal tournaments have had really awful metagames. Which makes me think that like their format balance has probably only been reasonable at a glance based on the fact that like the ladder's pretty casual. Randy Leon, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Wouldn't be here without folks like you. I think sweepers are probably bad here. I think I'd rather have spot removal that plays to the board. Cling and Soul Guide Lantern to keep their Oxes off feels good. The opponent's technically playing a 3-card combo deck, but we have interaction to pick that apart, so I want to just try and not die to their fair backup plan. One more trim here. Maybe I don't want 3 Bolas. Might want Verdict for Hollowblade. I've got Baleful Mastery, and we can beat Hollowblade just by running them out of cards. We also have like a 4/4 that blocks Hollowblade. Hey, congrats on making it to Mythic. It's a good time. I would be very surprised if companies like Star City Games and Nerd Rage Gaming that run paper tournaments don't support Historic in paper when they come back. I think they'd be pretty big fools not to. This being the premier non-rotating format on Arena, I think is gonna make it hugely popular in the long term. It's also just like a great format, but the fact that it's on Arena is huge. Like Wizards has said they don't intend to support the format in paper, but third-party tournament organizers are just gonna do. Are there any historic cards with IRL supply issues? Mostly niche cards. So, what's it called? What's the elf? What's the elf mythic from Jumpstart? Is like $140 a copy. Yeah, stuff from Jumpstart has some supply issues. Allosaurus Shepherd, not Rider. Rider's the old busted one. Allosaurus Shepherd's over $100 in paper. Because lol, finance. Well, Abundant Harvest will be a Modern Horizons card. Okay, how much does Muxus cost? Anybody know? Muxus probably isn't too expensive because it's only a casual card in paper right now, but its price would probably go up if historic paper was a thing. Allosaurus Shepherd is only expensive at the moment because he's playing Legacy Elves. Muxus is $15. Yeah, I would bet Muxus would probably double or triple if paper historic became a thing. Do you feel historic has negatively impact the game at all, or just come as a win across the board? No, it's just like, it's a win. It's great. I don't know why a new format would negatively impact things. More ways to play Magic is great. Magic isn't one game, chat. Magic is a rules engine through which we play lots of different games called formats. Tap their creature here with this. I'm gonna attack them for 4. Really want to draw a Nikki B. Might be looting with this. I mean, Magic Arena is expensive. That's not really a historic exclusive problem. Also, we just got done talking about Allosaurus Shepherds being $100 in paper, so like, Magic's expensive. I'm gonna tap one of these and loot here. Electrolyze would be better? Yeah, maybe. Electrolyze might be worth considering for this deck. Completely disagree. I don't think Electrolyze solves any problems that this deck has, and I don't think it's worth playing because of that. So making them discard a card doesn't really accomplish anything here, so I'm just going to go ahead and play Bonecrusher Giant, so I have lethal on board next turn. Yeah, I agree with that with Nor. I think Electrolyze is not playable in this format. I think the selection's not flexible enough. Just tacking like so many cards incidentally generate value. I think you'd much rather be playing Prismari Command or Abrade or any other selection of 2 or 3 mana instances. Why does discarding not accomplish anything? Because they have Ox of Agnos in their bin. Oh, we could get comboed here. If they have Curiosity, we're dead. They're thinking if they want to play around a removal spell here, but they're dead next turn, so they should just go for it. So, how the opponent's deck works is they put Curiosity on Glinthorn Buccaneer, and Curiosity says when your creature deals damage to your opponent, you draw a card, and then they discard a card to Season Hallowed Blade to trigger this to deal 1, and then this lets them draw, and then they sit there and discard cards with this, pinging us with this, drawing more. Well, this attack would imply they don't have it, and this attack actually leaves them dead on board, or dead next turn. Not on board, obviously our hand is hidden, but I get to Abrade to tap the other Hollow Blade, and then Nicol Bolas kill the Buccaneer, attack for 8. Yeah, their deck's kind of neat. We had played something similar to it on stream at one point a while ago, when Curiosity came out of Jumpstart. They could technically still have Curiosity. I wanted to attack first to see if it makes me do anything. So we're going to end step, Abrade this, because if they save it, it taps it. And then we kill their other one with this. They could have a Spell Pierce here, I suppose, or Mystic Dispute. That's lethal, though. Good top deck. Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. Thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good afternoon. What a great user. What a great time for that username to resubscribe, huh? Do I want these Shadow Verdicts for their stupid Hollow Blades? Yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Yeah, Glinthorn, Benthic, Biomancer, Helion was a meme we did for a little bit. Seems fine. No proactiveness, but we've got our colors of mana, and we've got some meaningful disruption here. Rude. Being on the play is busted, chat. So I want to Abrade Rill as opposed to Heartless Acting, because Heartless Act can be used to kill their 2/4 later, whereas Abrade cannot. Yeah, try and not die to this. Chandra can hopefully be, hey, look, a distraction for a couple of turns. You have 2 Baleful Mastery and 2 Shadows Verdict that deal with this.
You want to play with fire, huh? Yup. You're going.
How do we feel about cycling the Soul Guide Lantern here? The plans for what my next variety game is, yes, we're going to be playing Pikmin 3 on the Switch. And then we're going to be playing Bioshock 1, or my next 2. I don't have anything super set in stone after that, though. Like, they could have Ox in hand here. Hey, Mattman, thanks for the quarter of a year, by the way. Welcome back. Yeah, Infinite was really good. No, I have not. I basically played exclusively card game related things for a long time, chat. There's the Ox. Yikes. Alright, so we're going to play the untapped Plantiers. That way if Chandra finds the sweeper, we can cast it.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
That's good enough, right? It blocks. Fan of Boba Tea. I don't know what that is. I have not played Pikmin games before. This needs 8 other cards here, so they're going to have to discard something to this to escape the Ox here. Is Grixis doing decent? Yeah, we've had another pretty good session again. Engine T, but with stuff in it. I like the tank before they killed me. That was nice of them. Maybe they didn't realize they had their combo. I guess I could be worried about, like, Disfigure. Oh, Curiosity's on the wrong creature. Got it. Got it. Okay, that makes sense. They have to have the curiosity on this Storko. I'm glad we did the top right there. Think we just murder this with Chandra? Like tap land pass?
Feel the burn.
We're actually dead to another Glinthorn Buccaneer? So they get to just bin their hand with Seasoned Hollowblade. Well, I guess I could Heartless Act the Seasoned Hollowblade in response to get a card out of their hand. Hey, CPU, thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. Opponent's got a lot of tire spinning. We're 15 cards into our deck without any of our 4 answers to this Storko. This lets them escape the Ox this turn if they want. But they'll have to lose their cards in hand. They might, if they don't have Glinthorn, they might want to escape the Ox here and just push for it. Like, I down-ticked the Chandra last turn to kill the Ox, so... Yeah, the fact that Heartless Act can't kill the Ox sucks, for sure. I think if they escape the Ox here, I'm going to be forced to draw a card with Chandra. Of course, may stun. We aim to please. One full Hoglandian. They're only through 1 Buccaneer at this point, right? Bill's Magic Man.
Yup, you're going down.
Good chance we're dead here. They're 32 cards into their deck, and they just need the second copy of their 4 of here. And they have a Faithless Looting to dig deeper too, plus a draw step. So, like, you just need a second copy and 35 cards. Yep, that'll do it. So, they just discard cards from their hand to ping us 3 times. That was rough. Not finding our answer to there. The fact that they had 2 of that one in their opener, and then we didn't find any of our 4 answers in the top third of our deck is brutal. If we had found 4-mana Nicol Bolas a little bit sooner, we probably would have been okay. The fact that they're 3-1, in addition to not finding our removal for it, they also like got to hit us 3 or 4 times was brutal. It's been fine, Lord. We've been beating the meta decks and losing to random chaff. Which is about how Historic goes for interactive decks a lot of the time. Speaking of random chaff, looks like another Tainted Pack deck. Okay, discard spells sound good. And they're playing Laturi, which means that is their only copy of Tainted Pack. If they have ways to pick it back up out of the bin and they have one in their sideboard. I'm surprised to not see them play Iteration. It's actually a piece of interaction in this matchup, which is funny. They go to deck themselves, you make them draw. Our mana base is very good. It could only be better if this was a Triome. So, I think with them Laturiing here, if they don't play like a Thoughtseize on us, I'm pretty sure we kill the Otter and loot. So that way we can play Nicol Bolas on an empty board. Because their Tainted Pack is gone and their Laturi's in play, we're basically just playing a Grixis Control Mirror at this point. And Nikki B is a pretty good card to have in play in the Control Mirror. Rid of that Tainted Pack, so they're cards that recover from the bin. Can't get it back.
Will remake the multiverse.
I'm glad it was there for you, Esper. Now remember, Bolas on an empty board like this, he's a 5-mana Planeswalker, but his +1 isn't just draw 1, right? It, like, is give us a card and take a resource away from them. Sweet. Hey, look, they exiled a Languish. I'm going to play a Glorybringer here.
Eons ago.
Exile this Faithful Suiting first, though. Yep, yes, eventually wins the game as well. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Giant dragons blowing through ya. Do 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 do. Exerted to flex? Nah, I want to close. Okay, we could get combo killed next turn. That's a Tainted Pack. Okay.
Witness a mote of my power.
This is interaction against their combo, chat. Although if they just leave Tainted, if they leave Oracle in play, they win the game, right? Oh, but we can kill it with Bonecrusher Giant Stomp. Okay. So if they leave 2 cards in their deck, we kill the Oracle and don't make them draw. If they go to 0 cards, we command and kill them. Got it. I don't think my life total matters in draw. At any cost, chat. At any cost. And I'm gonna shock this into beat Spell Pierce.
No weakness I cannot exploit.
And this is lethal next turn. If they deal with this, they have to deal with this over 2 turns. Actually, this is lethal with these next turn, right? There's interesting counterplay to the Pack Oracle stack, assuming you have a very narrow specific subset of cards. It's like exactly Prismari Command. Generally speaking, if you can't make this deck draw, you literally have no counterplay against their deck, other than counter spells and discard spells. Baleful Mastery on occasion. But they can, even Baleful Mastery, if they know it's there, they just leave 1 card in their deck, chat. And then they play around that. So, like, you know. Show me Tail's End. So if they have 0 devotion and their deck is empty, they win the game, Mazer Mouse. Removal does nothing against their combo.
All existence bows to me.
Probably don't want the graveyard heat. These are all ways to close out and apply pressure. Ooh, that's true. If you can cast either way, it works. Sure. Blue and black have a range of cards that offer counterplay in this matchup. Yeah, things like torpor creatures against their deck being impactful is like saying, you know, Drannith Magistrate is good against Sultai Ultimatum. It's like, it's technically true, but they're a combo control deck that killing a creature is trivial for. The obvious solution is Platinum Angel. That's true. You can't lose the game if you have Platinum Angel in play, and your opponent can't win the game. And them's just the facts. Does a silenced white spell work? Kinda. It beats them if they play Oracle first, but they technically don't have to play Oracle first. They could technically... The reason why you Oracle first in their deck is to show your opponent you have both combo pieces and let them know they can concede instead of wasting your time. But if your opponent has interaction, it's frequently correct to Tainted Pack first, deck yourself, and then play the Oracle. Sure, against blue decks they can counter, but like, even if they have a counter spell there, Steric, if they get to counter spell your Tainted Pack, then you've blown your combo. So like, a counter spell still basically gets you. I'm gonna take the Wishclaw Talisman. going on, Confucius? Welcome back. It's a great time to dip back into Magic. Arena's historic format has shaped up really wonderfully into one of the best non-rotating formats Magic has ever had. Yeah, but then they don't have to deck themselves, Mortgage. They just, like, leave a card in the deck. Sure, but my point is, Derek, most of the time their archetype's not going to leave themselves in a position for that to be a thing. Unless they're under an incredible amount of pressure. Alright. It might be right to keep this in hand and to cycle next turn. Arquan, thanks for the third of the year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The best number of Coco hits, 32 or more. And the actual answer is it depends on who you ask, but I'd tell you 32. Especially if you're counting Land War Elves as hits. One of the things people do incorrectly a lot of time with Collected Company is they count up how many creatures they have for Collected Company, and they include terrible cards like Land War Elves. And it's like, well, Land War Elves is basically a brick when you hit it with Collected Company. Sunday, bloody Sunday. Thanks for the follow. Do 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 do. Beep do 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 do. I don't have a song for you, Miniature Pig. I apologize. I set the bar really high there with Bloody Sunday, and I'm sure you're disappointed now. Yeah, I think there's a good chance they fight over this draw 2 here, so I like casting the Negate because it gives us a window to do something next turn if we draw it. I didn't know personalized songs were obtainable perk. It depends on what your username is. Unless your name is Haley. Haley I can fit into most songs because I sing lots of things to my daughter. So, I discarded a Thassa's Oracle earlier. I feel like I'm supposed to make a treasure and loot here, rather than holding this up. It feels like it's pretty important to just, like, get something going on here. Oh, I can just Ravager here too now, right? Yeah, let's just do that. Thanks for the year and a half, Brass Monkey. Welcome back. Well, I'm not attacking here because I'm 1 land away from flipping my Bolas and they are 3 lands away. No blocks. Some Bolas on Bolas violence here. They're playing Laturi, and we discarded a Oracle earlier, so we know that we don't have to worry about getting comboed out of them until they have a way to fish their Oracle back up. That's nice. And we don't have pressure on them, strictly speaking, but this is a draw 2 every turn, so we should hopefully find some. What does Ultimate do? Exile all but the bottom card of target player's library. That could actually backfire in this matchup. Yeah, they had Jace game 1 too.
Geniuses are mad.
I gotta just try and take care of this now. Try and save ourselves getting into some trouble later with it.
I always have an answer.
Hey, Nitpick, thanks for the help here. What do you think of the Sultai Citadel Tendrils deck? Well, when we had played that on stream, if you hadn't seen it, our conclusion was that Tendrils was an unnecessary conclusion in it, and I greatly preferred simply winning the game with Witherbloom Apprentice. Can they win now? Yeah, they probably have Mastermind's Acquisition, and they have Jace. Cling to Dust is like low-key one of the best cards in this format. It just does so much in so many different spots. Yeah, I'd rather have Weather the Storm and Witherbloom Apprentice in the Storm deck.
I know what must be done.
I technically could have tried for lethal here, but like, I think I just pass. I don't think there's any reason not to hold up a Glut of Interaction. Nah, I just think it's completely unnecessary. You should go watch our set with the deck Nitpick if you haven't watched it on my YouTube channel. We started with 4 copies of Tendril and then quickly moved to 0 after playing some games with it being clunky and unnecessary. It's just such a bad card when you're not ready to combo kill them. And when you are combo killing them, Apprentice and Weather the Storm are enough. You know, I think I'm just super happy with this deck list. It feels like we've got a nice blend of answers to most things. Just good, flexible answers that are also double as threats. You know, our card advantage is reasonable. We've got ways to close the game out with all of these 4 power monsters. We've got a reasonable sweeper finally in Crux of Fate. We got a discard spell that doesn't murder us in Inquisition. Cling to Dust gives you some nice edge case utility. I don't have any changes. This is card for card what we started with. So yeah, I think this seems reasonable, and I'm gonna go ahead and add this up to. I'm gonna be making a list of decks that I'm gonna be adding to my website when I put the historic pages back up there. And this is definitely gonna be on the list because it's a fan favorite. It's been fun, and I don't know, this card's just ghastly, and I like this card a lot. It's a Chaos Warp in the sideboard for it. It's just like a catch-all answer. Grixis has a hard time with enchantments, and the couple of black enchantment answers that exist kind of suck. Lucky for me, Jeff already got me to buy all these Grixis cards. Yep, this ain't a new con.